I hear a camera.
Oh, mea culpa. Okay, I'm turning it off. I'm trying to silence the damn thing.
And we are live. What's going on, everyone? Another Sunday stream here on the channel. Really looking forward to this one. Listen to that. Even the phones are excited. They're going off. Everyone's being notified that I'm live. Is that what it was? Maybe. But yeah. That's awesome. But thank you so much. I have some wonderful guests with me today. We're going to let them introduce ourselves as soon as people start coming in here, because I want to make sure you get through the ads and all that other stuff. I should probably mute myself. There we go. Perfect. All right, and here we go. Look at the chat. Everybody is excited. Guys, are you excited to be here so we can talk about all the great things going on with Disney Star Wars today?
Thrilled. Absolutely thrilled. Can't wait.
Teresa was dropping F-bombs earlier before we went live. You guys should have heard it. It was absolutely unladylike, but I understood it.
I'm trying to be a good girl.
All right. Well, Teresa Martin is here joining me today, and I do appreciate her being here. She's been here before, and I also have a couple other of my patrons here today. One has a very unique avatar right there, and to be honest, I can't get over my love for it. To be really honest with you guys, Lost Jedi 22. How are you, sir?
I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here. And then it's your first time on the channel. And also we have Culture Casino, first time on the channel, who also recently just started his YouTube channel. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. I'd be doing a little better if they could figure out what to do with Star Wars, but I'm doing okay.
Well, that is, I think that's a sentiment a lot of us share basically since 2000. Well, maybe not since 2012. A lot of people still had hope back then. Let's say since 2015 or so. But again, all of my guests who are also patrons of mine can be found in the chat below. The links are in the description, and we will be sharing those throughout the day. So definitely make sure to go check out their channels if you're not subscribed already. But let's see who we have here today. Teresa was the first. Look at that with a little wave. Awesome. Mary Mayhem is in the chat. Everybody loves Mary. She says, "Hail Fandom Menace." And she's been chatting up a storm. Look at Trevor Anthony. The Snyder Cut is not happening. Well, we're going to talk about that later. But you're entitled to your opinion, sir. Matt Wilkins is in the chat saying hi to Mary. What's up? Matt Wilkins, I was on his stream, his 5,000 subscriber celebration the other day. So congratulations to Matt. Definitely well-deserved and overdue. So you got to catch up with me, Matt. Got to catch up. Nitrium, Red Letter Media just dropped a funny short video on Palpatine being a clone. That's funny. You got to check that out. Do you guys watch Red Letter Medium at all? Or Red Letter Media?
Oh yes, they're hysterical. I love them.
Their takes are brilliant, and they inject humor where it absolutely needs to be.
I haven't watched too much of them recently. I'm trying to get through their Picard reviews.
Oh yeah. They do like 2 at a time, I think, is what they've been doing. I really enjoy what they do. I don't agree with them on necessarily everything. I think sometimes they have bad takes, but I definitely appreciate what they do there. I think they were a little too much on the bandwagon maybe to get started with Star Wars before they really realized how much people disliked it and were willing to like share their real feelings. But other than that, no criticisms. I think those guys are hilarious. Tugs is here. Hello, Tugs. There you are. Tugs. So you thought I would yell at Trevor for saying that? No, I would never. Christian Stileski's here. Becky's here. Hello, Becky. Steph is here. If Ryan's late, we ride. I was like 1 minute late, okay?
Oh, that was my fault. I was trying to get the green screen to work, so blame it on
No, we were good. We were good. Who else? Vera Dark is here. Where's the party? Vera, the party is right freaking here, as always. Every Sunday at this time, the party's right here. I don't know. Let's catch up. 16-bit mascot is here. Too bad Palps only made 1 clone. Yes, we are going to talk about that and what bullshit this is. Trey Courtney's in the house. Price is Right Review is in the house. And I saw a super chat from Price is Right Review just a second ago, too. Here it is. Drew Karpyshyn never slammed his fans on his books. No, he did not. Drew Karpyshyn most definitely did not, because he's someone that has respect for people, and maybe actually that was a time when if you wanted to, keep a job and stay a professional, you had to not be a complete asshole all the time on social media.
Exactly.
But that time is long gone, evidently. So we will be getting into all of the High Republic stuff, talking about the High Republic first of all, and then we'll talk about some of the reactions that all these people have had to it, and specifically how less than a week, and these people are already out there on Twitter talking about it. So, Marquez says, "Hey now, no V-neck, no party." Well, I'm wearing a Star Wars and a Chicago Cubs shirt, two of my greatest loves. So, I mean, it's a party to me. But let's see. Why don't we just talk about the big news first? Let's just get right into it, because this came down and everybody either rolled their eyes or clenched their fists in anger or something, or you thought it saved this movie. Palpatine being a clone. Palpatine being a clone. So I've got a little screen rant article pulled up. Before I talk about that, let's just go around the panel. Cultures Casino, we can start with you. What were your initial thoughts when you heard this stuff about it being a clone?
Well, I thought it was probably one of the lamest excuses they could have come up with. I think it directly stole from other stories in a way that made it even more ridiculous. As I told you earlier, my brother is a developmental biologist, so he's actually a genetic engineer. And the cloning aspect doesn't work that way. If you clone something, it starts at an embryonic state in most situations, and you grow that up. Now, using what they did in Camino to advance the aging, I can understand doing that. But to clone an old body with exactly the same injuries and to do that in that way is just asinine, and the science is bad. So it absolutely infuriated me.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense. Exactly. If you're gonna make one, why would you just let it sit there and die out and get so putrid and rotting instead of making another one?
And it also makes no sense because they have what 30 dozen clones of Snoke sitting around in the last movie.
Yes, exactly.
It's just dumb.
What about you, Teresa? What did you think about this?
To be fair, I was just apathetic. I'm in a
That's
known
the worst.
area.
That's the worst part.
Yeah, I'm numb to it, because even when I saw it in the show, I felt like it was fan fiction. So the closest I can get to an emotion is actually maybe a little bit of happiness and relief, because this means, if this is the case, that Anakin did kill Palpatine, and his sacrifice and his redemption is still intact. Because by making Palpatine survive that, it made what Anakin did as Darth Vader when he redeemed himself. It took away his redemption. This way, he has now been restored to that. It's almost as though maybe they didn't even realize that until all the fans were pissed off, PO'd. So then they just go, okay, it's a clone. There you go, kid. So that's my thinking.
Yeah, and that's the worst thing that we can be for them, is apathetic. They would rather us be angry than apathetic, to be perfectly honest. Because, listen, there was a lot of people who've been complaining about Star Wars and what they did to Star Wars for the past several years. And then a lot of those same people were still there opening weekend to see Rise of Skywalker. So, because they're mad, but they still care. So I think the worst thing, when people start to be apathetic, that's when finally everything will be done. But Lost Jedi, the man who's triggering some people in chat with his avatar. What were your thoughts?
It was kind of expected. We've known all along, I think, that they're going to use the other mediums to try and fix their broken scripts. So I wasn't that surprised by it. However, the more I think about it, I just keep getting more and more angry. Because it just it makes sense, and it looks like the way they're doing it in the book is it's just going to be like one throwaway paragraph.
Yeah, yeah, that's what I'm just trying to find out if there's any more mention other than that. Because, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, am I going to have to buy 4 more comic books and a different book to get the bigger explanation, or is this just going to be it?
Right, exactly. Yeah. And real quick, we got $1 from an Australian dollar from Raging Rhino. Thank you so much, sir. Do appreciate you. And he was saying hail to everybody and fuck Disney. And I think a lot of us can agree with that. And look, we have a different guys. If you didn't like the burning Baby Yoda, you have something else now.
Aww.
So,
oh no! Oh shoot! You're so
these stormtroopers can shoot. So
yes, I fixed it. They can aim now.
Exactly. They were just able to kill Quill, so they should be able to hit that that little monster right there. But yeah, so for me, I did a stream not too long after it. Now, I saw Star Wars Theories video when it happened. For me, it was about 8 in the morning when it dropped over here on over here on Pacific Coast. But I'm just reading some of the comments in chat. This one. Jesus, who hurt you, bro? But when I heard it, it was so frustrating because one, I totally believe that this is a retcon. I don't think that this is how it was in the movie. Because there's no way. You can't freaking tell me. You can't tell me that for 2 months or whatever it's been, J.J. Abrams, Chris Terrio, they've been dragged over the coals for this. You can't tell me that they wouldn't have said, well, he's a clone. There's no freaking way. They would have said that. Second of all, so many things don't make sense. Like Culture Casino mentioned, the fact that you would clone a younger body, and even though they said it couldn't hold his spirit, which was one of the things with Dark Empire. Again, they stole this whole story now. If they made him a clone from
it seemed to hold Snoke's okay.
Yeah, it seemed to hold him just fine, right? For sure. But Dark Empire was written in the mid-90s, and Palpatine did return as a clone. He had several clone bodies, and he used essence transfer basically after he was killed by Anakin in Return of the Jedi. And he had a hidden fleet, a bunch of super weapons. Like it's so much of it's so similar. And we were saying that's not even a great story. It's one of the most maligned stories in the EU. However, the way it was done made a lot more sense, and it didn't destroy the legacy like it did. I think they heard us saying that, and they edited this one paragraph into the fucking novel. That's what pisses me off so much.
It's like they're cheating. They're cheating the rules of storytelling.
When they couldn't even be bothered to do a good job of it, even.
Exactly. They took a story element from an expanded universe story and did a much worse job of explaining it. And if it is a throwaway paragraph like Disney tends to do with everything when they retcon something, so that if it doesn't play well in one country, they can play it somewhere else, it's going to be even worse for fans like us who pay attention to the details. I mean, if we know the details, the people writing it certainly should.
Well, where's there going to be room in the rest of the novel for them to even go back to talking much about him anyway? He's really not that big of a part of the story. He's in the beginning and the end.
Yeah. And one of the things I thought interesting was that I didn't realize they were planning on selling these at C2E2. Like, that's how all this came out. It wasn't like some kind of leak. It was they were actually just like selling a limited number of copies at the booth in C2E2. So a couple people just started... a couple people just found him and started putting out screenshots. Now, the Palpatine thing was obviously the big one. There was also some ridiculous Reylo cringe in there. It was literally like 50 Shades of Grey. Someone said 50 Shades of Rey. I thought that made a lot of sense. I forget who said that, but I should copyright it. But it was so... It's clearly like the audience that they are after. And, much the same way, Teresa, I know you love Baby Yoda, who's getting just destroyed right now. But
he keeps coming back, though.
Yeah, he does keep coming back. He's using force healing, I believe. But
Yes.
But that's kind of the audience that so much of this is geared towards is like I would say, like the Twilight or the 50 Shades of Grey audience, the kind of like normie audience. It doesn't mean that everybody else doesn't find him like cute as well, or at least the majority of people. But that seems to be the audience they're catering to. I don't know how successful it's been when you figure they've lost half of their audience.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not at all. And I should argue, I am a fan of Twilight. I will defend Twilight till the cows come home for what it was. It was
Team Edward or Team Jacob?
Team Edward. Oh man, I love that man. But the thing is, Twilight was what it was. It was a ridiculous story that was just fun and total chick flick all the way. Trying to put that element into Star Wars. I can assure you, Twilight fans weren't wanting to watch Star Wars. And as far as trying to go for the whole Baby Yoda thing, those same people, they're not watching it. I'm around these people all the time, that age group, that whole 14 to 25 age group. They're not into Star Wars, and they never will be. Talk about a vocal minority. The Raylos and all that. And they're not getting them. It's just a big frickin' waste of time. Or they should just go back and just tell a daggone good story, and then you'll get everybody involved, especially people like me who have lived with Star Wars her whole life and has money.
That's true.
How many of these?
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Culture Casino.
Oh, I was going to say the thing that bothered me the most, and I think I put out a tweet about it today because it just this Raylo thing has driven me crazy the whole time. Is it is probably the most destructive concept to showcase for young people, that a violent relationship with your partner is not only acceptable, it's desirable, and that puts you in a position where you're arguing with yourself about, well, is it okay to be 50 Shades of Grey in your relationship, or do you want something that's loving and you don't yell and beat each other all the time? And it's Amber Heard and Johnny Depp, and that bothers me like I can't even express. So it was poorly done in the movie when they decided to move forward with that, which wasn't, obviously they didn't intend to do that in the Force Awakens. This is something they just added in to try to gather that YA audience that, as Teresa pointed out, weren't really fans to begin with. So it's nuts.
Yeah. And I think I saw a couple questions in the chat about, it makes sense because his body was corrupted and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, you have this whole facility, you have literally you have thousands of like Sith Eternal or whatever the hell they're explaining these people are around you. You're telling me you can't just do the same thing, the same process, whatever it was to clone and get your spirit in this body that you did for another one. You've been sitting around in this body for 40 years. You can't just put it in another one, maybe look a little bit healthier. It doesn't make any sense. And again, if he's died already and they use that to bring him back, what's to say they can't do that this time?
Why aren't there tens of thousands of clones sitting back somewhere ready for him to inhabit? That doesn't make any sense.
There were more Snoke backups.
Exactly. There were more Snoke backups. Maybe that's who the Sith Eternal were. They were all just Palpatine clones. We never got to see their face. We have a $4.99 super chat from Drunk 3PO. What's up, my brother? Looking forward to catching up when I get back. Love. And yeah, Drunk 3PO looks like he's having a freaking blast at Pensacon with so many members of the Geeks and Gamers team. You guys keep rocking it. Seems super fun. I wish I could be there with you guys too, but looking forward to everybody coming back. We got Scoundrels Cantina in the chat. What's up, Scoundrels Cantina? It's been a while. Hope you're good. And then Dr. Jagus for $5. A clone Palpatine can only mean one thing. Baby Palps. Oh my god.
Oh god.
Which means in
that
season 2.
But that actually would have been the way it would have gone. You'd had a bunch of baby Palps if you were cloning them. So why not? You could use them for Cheerios. I mean, you could have them everywhere. Baby Palps, with some sugar and some milk. I mean, come on.
Baby Yoda versus Baby Yoda versus Baby Palps would help explain what Sidious's injuries are in Rise of Skywalker. Oh my God!
No.
Don't give them any ideas, please. Don't. That is horrible.
Baby Yoda kept biting his fingers off.
Yeah, that's why his fingers were so messed up. God,
Oh
so ridiculous. God.
Well, sure, the conspiracy theorist in me is that the reason why all of this is such a mess is that they did do a drastic rewatch, because I swear, the Doctor Who dude, whatever, Doctor Number 11, gosh, what was his name? That the fact that it was rumored that when he was supposedly a part of the movie, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh no, he's not in it, just kidding. And we were thinking that he was actually supposed to be a young Palpatine, and that it just disappeared. What was his name? Chris Smith? Is that his name? No, not Chris Smith. Matt Smith.
Matt Smith.
Yes, Matt Smith.
Yeah, that he was like cast, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh, just kidding. He's not really. That they drastically rewrote it all, and they're still doing it.
Some people, some people like. Some people were suspecting he was going to be the son of Mortis. You know, that's a lot of what we heard as well, that possibly he was going to play the son of Mortis from the Clone Wars. But yeah. Looks like Steph is trying to get me to read cringe TRS passages in my most seductive voice.
Oh, no.
I actually did, on my video the other day, I did a little bit more of it. So I know a lot of people were fans of how I said it. But yes, I might do a little bit of that since we have more time. It took too much time for me to do that. I felt people would get bored with the video, even though I thought it was funny. So I redid it a little bit. But let's take a look at this article so we can get a little more details about this Palpatine thing, and then maybe we'll look at that Rise or that Reylo cringe. Now, let's share the screen here. Boom. All right. And my favorite screen rant, I love screen rant. Star Wars confirms Palpatine was a clone in Rise of Skywalker. The novelization of Star Wars Rise of Skywalker finally reveals the truth about how Palpatine survived. He was a clone all along. No, nobody, well, I don't think people should believe this. I'm sure there will be people that do. Star Wars Theory is the one that broke this, and he was very positive about it. It was like, wow, this explains so much. I feel so much better about this movie now. And I just can't say that.
If they put unicorns in a book, he'd think it was great.
Well, from one side, I don't have anything against Theory, but his channel's name is Star Wars Theory. So he has to keep talking about Star Wars, you know. But I respect his opinion, and that's about all I'll say about that. I do think he's wrong. The novelization confirms Palpatine was a clone. Blah, 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 blah. Ray Carson will surely be hoping to navigate these plot holes. Jesus. Fix these plot holes. Not navigate, fix. That's what they do with these books. Marketing for Rise of Skywalker to emphasize the unexpected return of Emperor Palpatine, and moviegoers were eager to learn how Darth Sidious had survived his death. Remarkably, the film avoided explaining it at all.
Remarkable.
Yes. One throwaway line. The dark side of the Force is a pathway to many abilities some would consider unnatural. And that's all we had. Now, without any other context, what would you guys guess just from watching the movie? We'll start with Culture Casino. What would you have guessed that how he was back?
I would not have had a guess because I don't know how they could have brought him back. What do you mean? That was the worst thing in the world. You bring back a character who was clearly died. He was thrown down a plasma shaft, and then the whole Death Star was obliterated. What do you want? What? I don't know how they brought him back. It was dumb. They had no more villain. Rian Johnson completely screwed him in a way that I don't think anybody else has ever done in a movie, especially not a trilogy before. In the middle, he just destroys the entire plot line of Snoke. So, no, I have no idea, Ryan. I'm sorry.
Fair enough. What about you, Teresa?
I just was sitting there suspending disbelief. He was like, here I am. And I was like, No, you're not. You got blown up, dude. I that's all I was doing. It was a very surreal experience watching this movie because you're just not believing it. The closest I might have come up with was maybe that they were trying to say that when he blew up, his essence went across the world and into a clone, but I don't think they said that in the movie. So
No.
we just had to make up our own BS background.
Very true. What about you, Lost Jedi?
I just didn't believe, clone or otherwise, there was any way for him to come back. He would have had to been prepared to lose his life and then transfer his essence in some way to the clone, or his essence would have had his essence had to be picked up by somebody, and at that point, the Republic had already won. They were in full control of the galaxy. Who would have done it? There's really no way to make sense. You can call it a clone, but okay, how does his essence get from Endor to Exegol through unnavigable space without his wayfinder?
Yeah, somebody needed a wayfinder, right? Vader was dead and Palpatine was dead. So who was it?
They left their wayfinders behind, or somebody had to stay behind in order to carve the knife out. So match up, but.
And it has to be these Sith Eternal on Exegol. That's like the connection, right? These hundreds of million of people who happen to fucking be on Exegol for some reason had to be the ones that came in and did something for him. But the problem is, no matter which way you explain it, if you're going to say it's a clone, you said, well, why didn't they make more clones? Why this time when he's dead does it matter? Or did all the Sith Eternal really die? Did you really get them all? Is there not a hidden planet out there again where somebody can just do a little ritual and make a clone of him and he comes back? Who fucking knows? But then the way I had always assumed, and the reason, the visual dictionary says specifically this. They said they revived Palpatine. That's what they said. Those are the words they used. Revived Palpatine through technology.
So he physically survived.
Through technology and the occult. That's what was said.
2 nostril hairs. They recovered 2 nostril hairs from an obliterated Death Star. That's what it was.
Well, you only need 1 positron to make a new Data.
I don't want to do Star Trek, man. I'm gonna turn red.
Oh, Alice. I know what you're talking about in chat. Someone asked her how she is. She says, I'm good. Disappointed that someone I really looked up to is an SJW, but good. I think you are talking about Daniel Jose Older, who we will talk about later. And I am sorry about that. I'm sorry that you had to look at what he says on Twitter. My apologies for making the video, I suppose. But I like this screen name, A Disappointed Black Man. Michelle Dunlap, because mystery box, yes. Yeah, so with that visual dictionary, it seems very clear that it was some sort of ritual to kind of bring him back to life. Now, evidently, he's a clone. Who fucking knows? They can't get their shit straight. And then this goes on to explain, and this is the passage here. This is the passage here from the book that made everyone realize what happened. All the vials were empty. This is the beginning. This is Kylo coming into contact with Palpatine. All the vials were empty of liquid save one, which was nearly depleted. Kylo peered closer. He'd seen this apparatus before, too, when he'd studied the Clone Wars as a boy. The liquid flowing into the living nightmare before him was fighting a losing battle to sustain the Emperor's putrid flesh. What could you give me? Kylo asked. Emperor Palpatine lived after a fashion, and Kylo could feel in his very bones that this clone body sheltered the Emperor's actual spirit. It was an imperfect vessel, though, unable to contain his immense power. It couldn't last much longer.
Okay.
So make a new one.
Yeah, that's what my thing is. It survived 40 years like this. Or make another one. Why is he old as shit? Yeah, or why is he just living with that? They talk a little bit about these similarities. Like literal, legit, exact similarities to Dark Empire. The key difference, however, is that in Dark Empire, the clone body was actually able to contain the Emperor's spirit. After a while, yes, it was. They make a bunch of excuses and why they think this is good and explains a lot because it's Screen Rant and that's what they do. Look at Raging Rhino in chat. It makes me sick. And he's not talking about Baby Yoda burning. He's talking about this story. Yeah, why is his new body old? Exactly, Selena. And
I think for an emperor, he's not very bright.
Exactly.
It's the writers that aren't very bright.
Very true. Yeah, exactly. It is the writing. And again, I say again, there's no way that Chris Terrio and J.J. Abrams don't fucking mention he's a clone if he's actually a clone. All these interviews they did afterwards where they were getting absolutely destroyed for what they did to Star Wars, you can't tell me that they wouldn't have said, well, guys, just so you know, he is a clone. So maybe that makes you feel a little differently about it. But they didn't.
Yeah. Well, they couldn't do that because then the natural question is then why is there a time constraint for him taking over Rey's body? He can't do a script without a ticking clock.
It's especially a J.J. Abrams movie.
Right.
Oh, gosh, yeah.
He has to have that ticking clock. If he could just move into another body, there would be, like, why would he... Well, I still don't understand why he announced his presence to the whole world anyway. Like I said, he's the...
Because Fortnite
made Luke bad, but they made him really, really stupid.
Yeah, he's not much of a general. I mean, or a leader, or
no.
I mean, he used to be, but apparently being cloned into an old man's body multiple times makes you extra dumb.
Maybe get your ships up in the air before you declare war. I don't know.
Well,
come out of dry dock first.
A surprise attack would have been better. So, let's.
Right.
Hey, I've got all these ships. They can't go up, but I've got them. And they, without this tower over here, they can't go up. So, take out that. And it's just stupid.
How did they even aim their weapons if they don't know which way up is?
It's there's Rise of Skywalker is such a shit movie. Like after The Last Jedi, I don't think we really. I think that The Last Jedi did such significant damage that overall, and just the complete lack of respect, almost intentionally. I do think that just does so much damage to Star Wars. However, this one is arguably a worse movie when you factor in everything that came before it than Last Jedi. Last Jedi was different, a bad take, stupid narrative themes. This movie is just a literal fucking mess from beginning to end that destroys every aspect of Star Wars canon.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ryan already did the hard work. He destroyed Luke Skywalker, so JJ just had to mop up the rest of the universe.
Yeah. The only good part of Rise of Skywalker for me was the stuff with Poe and that one chick from his past. There was actually, for 5 seconds, something kind of interesting and some good acting, but then it was over.
Yeah, I blinked, so I missed
the whole
that part.
movie. Yeah, that was the only thing I thought, that's kind of cool. Oh, but never mind. And that's pretty sad when you've got a Star Wars movie, and that's the highlight.
Yeah, it really is. And at this point, it's just, God. On to the next thing, right? On to High Republic. We can't wait for that. But I did want to take an opportunity. I want to read for you guys. The Reylo cringe. If you guys haven't heard it yet. If you haven't heard it yet. So let's pop this up. Because we have to do this. All right. Now this book isn't very long. It's only page 238.
Dang.
It's not a very long novel, is it?
No.
Because this is basically the end. All right. So it starts, assumingly right after Rey dies. Oh, Michelle doesn't want it. She says, "Oh no, Ryan."
Oh God, yeah, you're gonna spoil it.
Here we go. Yeah, spoilers for the Rise of Skywalker novelization, guys. All right, spoilers.
Here we go.
He was about to do something he'd never done before. Fortunately, Rey had shown him how to give. Ben poured everything into her. Gross.
Sorry.
He found reservoirs.
Well with that.
He found reservoirs he didn't know he had. He gave her his whole self. It's like he didn't think he could really go again, but he just had a glass of orange juice in between. 30 minutes, he's good to go. Her diaphragm rose with the breath, and her warm hand covered his. Her eyes lit up. Ray seemed surprised to see him. She sat up, but she didn't draw away. They stared at each other for a moment. He waited for her to understand what had just happened. It would be okay if she left him behind now, got on with her life without a backward glance at him. It's what she should do, because I'm just a toxic male. Instead, she smiled and she whispered, Ben. She was glad to see him, glad to be with him in this moment. It was the greatest gift she could have given him. His heart was full as Ray reached for his face, let her fingers linger against his cheek. And then, wonder of wonders, she leaned forward and kissed him. A kiss of gratitude, acknowledgement of their connection, a celebration that they'd found each other at last. But then she drew back, concern on her face. She could feel him growing cold. Ben smiled at her. He had given Ray back to the galaxy. It wouldn't atone for the darkness he'd wrought, but it's what he could do. Ben Solo had no regrets as he collapsed to the ground. The Force reached for him in welcome. His final awareness was of Ray clasping his hand with her own. No, it doesn't say toxic male. That was me. I added that. That was me. I added the
no regrets. He has no regrets for anything he did.
Like murdered all those villagers and
my hero.
Genocide, torture.
My hero. I gotta check the chat. I gotta check. No, I'm not full Raylo. This is acting. This is acting, guys.
Ryan's been practicing his E.L. James reading from 50 Shades of Grey. So.
Exactly.
I'm impressed you didn't throw up.
Yeah, but saying that's Twilight is an insult to Twilight.
We're not even done yet, though. We're not even done.
No, there's more.
There's more. We got to read more. We have to finish it. Just like Mary says gross. Yeah, just like Ben finished. I do believe he probably came because it's the first time a woman touched him. I've always thought that the problem with Kylo was incel rage. So it makes a lot of sense. Ray stood over the place Ben had fallen, staring down at his empty tunic, because he becomes one with the Force, because fucking everyone becomes one with the Force in this fucking sequel trilogy. It doesn't take any training. The fact that Qui-Gon had to figure out how to do it, that he had to come back to train Obi-Wan and train Yoda, that's all bullshit. Nobody needs it in this sequel trilogy. Anyway, that's not written. He had sacrificed everything for her. She did not mourn Kylo Ren. She would never mourn Kylo Ren. But she dearly would have loved the chance to get to know Ben Solo. It felt like half of her was missing, and she supposed it was. The girl who had felt alone for all those years on Jakku had been part of a dyad the whole time. And just when she discovered that precious connection, that incredible oneness, it was ripped away. A voice came to her through the Force, clear and strong. "I will always be with you," Ben said. She smiled.
Creepy.
Wait, are you kidding me? Oh my.
Yes.
He's going to watch her.
Ben speaks to her through the Force.
I see you changing.
No, he's going to stalk her from the afterlife.
Take it off slower.
Does it hurt?
Does it hurt?
"I will always be with you," Ben said. She smiled. Let the truth of it wash over her. "No one's ever really gone," she whispered. She retrieved her lightsabers and sprinted from the ruined, collapsing cathedral. Maybe just cathedral. And then Finn felt that Rey came back to life. "Chewie, I felt her," he said. And Chewie probably thought he meant physically.
I was going to say, this was run by a pervert.
Time to lay some pipe.
Time to lay some pipe, Chewie. But yeah, so that's it, guys. That is the Rey. She finally killed her abuser, but she'll never be free of him. Holy shit.
It's gonna stalk her forever.
Man, I mean, it was just a movie, wasn't it? Oh my gosh!
Don't ask
That's
questions.
worse than I could have ever imagined.
Don't ask questions, just consume. That's right. So, all right, we need to go around the room. Let's see, the best score being Twilight and the worst score being 50 Shades of Grey. Where does this rank for you guys? Better or worse? The same? What do you think?
I have a penis, so I have not read either one.
Good answer.
I have not read 50 Shades of Grey.
50 Grades of Shay.
Yeah.
Well, you haven't read that?
No. Well,
Wait,
that's too much.
You just went on about Twilight, and you haven't read the follow-up to that for the older readers?
No, well, because I'm not. It was too much. It was too much because Twilight it didn't have all the sex in it, the graphic stuff in it.
That's true. It didn't have someone writing that someone else bit their lip 150 times in like a single book or something like that.
Oh,
You're forgetting the rolling of the eyes, because that was a thing.
oh yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I had no idea until you read it aloud how sexually weird that whole thing was, especially about Kylo putting his essence or whatever, putting everything he had inside of her. It was like, what?
That's just Ryan's narration.
Well,
I do think that
It made it sexier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but it's just weird.
well, since I'm probably the only person here that's read that, because I've got 1,000 or so books here next to me in the library, I can say it is worse than 50 Shades of Grey. It falls somewhere below Dora the Explorer for me.
Damn.
Well, Dora the Explorer is awesome.
What kind of cringe sexual weird fantasies are in Dora the Explorer? That's my next question.
Yeah, I don't have time to go into that. We need to.
Genie Mac.
Oh man. God, I wish I
Okay.
yes, that's for another stream, guys. Another stream. We do have a $5 super chat from Dr. Jagus. Dr. Jagus, again, thank you so much. Appreciate that. A name so nice you have to say it twice. Raylo is trash on fire, and this is coming from a guy that wrote such Star Wars fan fiction like 50 Shades of Dagobah and the war crimes of R2-D2.
I want to read that, actually. It sounds good.
I want to read the second one. I have no interest in the first one. That's, I believe, 50 Shades of Dagobah is actually the prequel to The Mandalorian, if I recall. But God, that's rough.
I mean, is that like about Yaddle and Yoda or something?
Is that how Baby Yoda came to be?
No.
Oh my God. All right. I need to hear the war crimes of R2-D2. Is it because he knew about Anakin and never told Luke? Is that the crime? Or did he like execute a bunch of like Geonosians in cold blood or something? That's my next guess. And then the Geek Blend, another patron, $5. Thank you very much, sir. This BS is all trash fire. I miss good Star Wars. Don't we fucking all? The good thing is it's still available. We still do have so many great stories in the expanded universe.
Yep.
So that is our solace that we can take in this, is that there is still great Star Wars, and a lot of people haven't experienced as much of it as maybe they could. For me, I've read. There's a couple things I haven't read so far, but for the most part, all the novels, which are my favorite parts, I've read basically everything. But for a lot of people, there's still a lot out there. I know Teresa's is really into the EU, but even she is reading stuff that she hasn't read before.
Yes. Some of the old Republic ones, the Sith ones. So
yeah,
I'm enjoying
there
that.
Are too many books. There are too many books in the EU. I don't know. I read a lot, and there are too many books.
Well, they went over so many years. If you start picking it up, if you're like, oh, what's this thing in 2011? And you're like, oh, there's 140, 150 adult novels. It can seem overwhelming, but you don't have to read them all at once. There's so much time. And the Audibles books are awesome too. But thank you for that super chat, the Geek Blend. We have Raging Rhino for Australian 99 cents. Thank you. I just feel his rage, his seething rage from here. I see Steph. Steph thinks that she says I nominate Ryan for the voice actor of the Audible novelization of TROS. They would have to pay me a lot of money. They'd have to pay me a lot of money,
Ooh.
but I'd be willing to do it. I'd make it sound so cringe too. Not that it needs any help, but yeah, I would do it.
How many copies do you really think they're going to sell of this thing?
I don't know if I have a good answer. I don't really understand how many books it takes it on the bestsellers list and all this crap. 20,000 maybe. I don't know. Not many.
Well, and sure, we can't trust them to give us honest numbers anymore.
Well, no, book publishers keep that kind of stuff under wraps. It's not like TV ratings where you can just look it up.
No.
Yeah. Do you know anything about that Culture Casino? About
book publishing? No, I could ask around. Based on the commentary by one of the recruiters for the publishing house, Del Rey, I would imagine that they're going to keep that very well hidden. So, because if it's anything like the comic industry and you end up, buying a bunch of books as a comic store and end up only selling, 1/3 of those books and you have 2/3 of those sitting on your shelves. I mean, they hide those numbers by just saying they sold all those books, which they didn't.
Yeah, they say how many they shipped, not how many actually ended up being sold. And God, that's a whole different topic because it used to be you could return. DC Comics used to be able to return the unsold ones. I don't think they do that anymore, unfortunately.
No, man, those things just sit. Ask Gary about it.
There's all sorts of shenanigans going on with that.
Yeah, for sure.
Who's your target audience? I mean, I don't think Raylos are going to buy it just for, 3 paragraphs? They're going to get pissed off.
Yeah, they already are. They're like, this isn't enough, basically.
Yeah, it's not gonna make him happy to relive the scene that makes him the most angry. I mean, yeah, a couple more sentences, that's not going to get him to buy the book.
Right, for sure. So another super chat from RC from the NYC. What's up, everyone? What I miss, I jump in, and Ryan is reading from Sacred Book of Star Porn. Yes, no. That's what they might as well call that. It was like dry humping for Star Wars. It's basically what that is. They don't really get it on, but they emotionally get together or something. I don't freaking know. But yeah, you came in for the best part. We're making the Rise of Skywalker novelization fun for everyone, which it will not be. But thank you for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. And then I saw a couple big super chats coming really close to each other. Thank you guys so much. From Jason C, $20. Thank you. Hail RK Outpost. Hail to the Fandom Menace. Absolutely. Hail to you, Jason C. Appreciate that super chat very much. And hail to the Fandom Menace for sure.
Hail.
Yeah. The Fandom Menace. There's a lot of blue check marks that write for Star Wars or edit for Del Rey or, are part of the story group that are coming out pretty hard about all the criticisms for their diversity board and the backlash to the High Republic announcement and all that stuff. But we're still here. We're still talking. We're not going away. So appreciate that. Hail to the Fandom Menace for sure. And then another $20 super chat, crazy, from Primarina Princess. Thank you so much. The High Republic era sounds like a desperate attempt at replacing the original expanded universe. They want to convince new Star Wars fans that their novels are the definitive version of canon lore. I wholeheartedly agree with you. And that's what was so frustrating. I want to watch a little bit of that announcement trailer, actually. I know I already did it on stream a little bit, but I know I did it on stream a little bit, but I want to do it again just for the people that didn't hear it, because it's so frustrating when they talk about how, we got a bunch of people together that love Star Wars, and that's how we crafted this. That's how it was done for fucking decades. And then you decided to throw it all away.
I just hope their target audience didn't read Aftermath or the Phasma book, because, oh man. Nobody's going to buy a book after those.
Chuck Wendig is a terrible writer. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. Once I had never read anything Chuck Wendig, and a buddy had a copy of Aftermath that I read a little bit of, and once I read, the tie went wibbly wobbly, and it like careened herkily jerkily. I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Is this real? Is this really what we have writing? Not R.A. Salvatore, not Michael Stackpool, not James Lucino, not Timothy Zahn, not writers like this, Chuck Wendig, and he's going off today too after the response to all the Jose Older stuff. But,
they're two of a kind.
Yeah, they really are. They belong together. But thank you very much, Primarina Princess. I appreciate that very much indeed. Somebody calling my writing cringe in chat. It was supposed to, or my not my writing, my speaking, my voice performance. It was supposed to be cringe. So I did my job.
Ryan, can I ask a question?
Oh, absolutely. Any questions? Feel free.
Who was a more wasted character in the Disney trilogy, Phasma or Finn?
I think that you have to say Finn because he's supposed to be a main character. They didn't do anything with him, and you can see clearly how upset John Boyega is with his character. There were definitely expectations set for both of them.
It seemed to me that you could have had a lot of diversity and groundbreaking in Star Wars if you would have put Rey and Finn on equal ground, and maybe at some point in time had one of them divert to the dark side. If I were going to write this, that's probably what I would have done, was to put them together and then have them be pulled apart by the Force.
Well, they could have been the dyad doohickey, whatever the hell.
And Kylo could have just been an ancillary, character.
Just hearing about this for 5 seconds, what you just suggested. What if, since they made Finn Force sensitive fucking anyway, why couldn't they have both had an awakening? That's kind of what brought them together in the first place. That's how they meet. They developed this relationship. Yep. They face off against Kylo. The second movie, instead of having them split apart the entire fucking time, has them together.
But that did that.
Right, exactly. But it has them together, and Kylo is able to sway Rey over to the dark side with him after killing Snoke. And the second movie is Finn trying to bring her back to the light. What like just that is a better fucking idea than what we got.
I always thought that Boyega deciding that he wasn't going to fight anymore as a stormtrooper was an awakening. And I thought I really thought that he was going to be the main character. I did not think this little desert rat was going to be the main character of the movie when it was first presented.
And it would have been magnificent.
I was rooting for that.
A wasted opportunity.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, way back, and that's not what we're talking about. But that's always bothered me. So.
Well, they hinted at it all the way in the Force Awakens, right up until the very end when he got his back sliced.
yes, exactly.
That's what's supposed to happen when you pick up a lightsaber for the first time. You're not supposed to wield it like it's like a chopstick or like a fork. You're not supposed to automatically know how to use the thing. So I'm sorry. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean he would have. The fact that he's now revealed to be Force sensitive, I don't believe that was the plan all along in any way, shape, or form. I think that was at the end. Again, after listening to a bunch of people who fucking sat here and complained for 2 years that why didn't they make Finn a Jedi? And they're like, we'll do that in the last movie. It doesn't fucking work that way. But with him now being Force sensitive, it does give them a little cop out as why he was able to go toe to toe with Kylo for as long as he did. As much as Kylo should have fucking destroyed Rey in their fucking fight, regardless of how Force sensitive she was and how injured he was, he should have ripped her apart. He should have lifted her up with the Force and slammed her into a tree. Like, why is he engaging this woman in a lightsaber duel?
Nobody in these sequels uses Force powers during a lightsaber battle. None. No chokes, pushes, nothing. Everybody loved that throne scene in Last Jedi, except for Phantom Menace people, but they used no Force powers at all. Like, why? They should have been able to just Force push those Red Guard idiots off screen.
Yes, 100% agree. And the idea that Finn could do anything, could not slice his own arm off for one, and then for two could actually go toe to toe with him and not die for a little while, I think was ridiculous.
Right.
Well, and the whole thing about Finn being force sensitive, we all thought when we saw it that every time he was trying to tell Rey he was force sensitive, we thought he was going to say, "I have feelings for you. I love you." And then they're like, that's what it looked like to all of us. And then they're like, "Oh no, he wanted to see he was force sensitive." And we're like, since when?
Exactly.
Just throw the line in there and see what happens.
They didn't even like really explain it like in. It's so this movie's a fucking mess. The more you think about it, the more pissed off you get.
Yeah.
Yep.
VS Studios for $10. Thank you very much for that super chat. The fans should come together to continue the EU, maybe like a K to Skywalker fan movie, something at the level of the Power Rangers bootleg movie. It would be the only way to continue Legends. Well, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that we are asking, well, not we, myself was part of a campaign with Twin Sons Foundation, who the link to donate to them is actually in the chat. They do things like provide books, and they fundraise and get books to local community centers, hospitals, libraries, things like that, full of Star Wars Expanded Universe books, mainly to encourage kids to read specifically the Star Wars Expanded Universe. But we're putting up some billboards. I keep saying we. It's not me. I'm not a part of it, but I just feel like I am. They are putting up billboards outside Lucasfilm. They're putting up billboards to ask for them kindly to continue the Legends continuity. And the way they would do this is by allowing Del Rey to publish, not controlled by necessarily Disney, but just allowing Del Rey to publish the stuff that they already had in the works for the Star Wars Expanded Universe, continue that story that we didn't get to see complete.
Yeah.
So, which we saw it happen with Marvel 108. Marvel asked Lucasfilm repeatedly if they could do a story based in the Legends continuity, and they finally let him do it. So who knows? Maybe there's hope. But yeah, I think that right now fan films and stuff like that are definitely a huge part of everything and keeping Star Wars alive for sure. Thank you for the super chat, VS Studios. I do appreciate it. Yeah, no worries. Let's see. I saw a couple chats that went by that I want to address, but now I kind of forget. I see Steve Kenobi here in chat. What's up, Steve? Good to see you. Good to see you. A High Ground Master. That's what I wanted. He sent me something. Now, this is a tough question. Ryan, quick question. Would you take one for the team and sleep with Kathleen Kennedy if that means you get full control of the next Star Wars movies or shows? Would I sleep with Kathleen Kennedy? Listen, I love Star Wars. I love democracy. I love Star Wars, and I would bend Kathleen Kennedy over and I would give it to her all night long if it meant I got to be in control of Star Wars. 100%. I'll take one for the team. I'll do it.
I think you had to be gentle.
No comment. No comment.
I think I could get permission.
Well, I don't know if I could get permission, but listen, Star Wars. It's Star Wars, guys. I got to do it.
You haven't been in a courtroom yet where half your stuff disappears. So yeah, no, gotta get permission first.
No, I've not been in that situation. Thank God. Frank says Ryan's room. Listen, I'll do it. I got to save Star Wars. R.I.P. Ryan. Put a stormtrooper helmet on her.
God.
Kathleen Kennedy about to feel the full power of the EU muscles. That is right. That is right. Now, this is a damn lie. This is slander, libel. Ryan would do it for a Baby Yoda plushie.
Ooh.
I would not.
Disgusting.
Hey, Baby Yoda, I'm going to be one of the first people getting that plushie. I'm your enemy on this one. I love Baby Yoda.
I freaking love. Oh, there it is. I was just gonna say I love this avatar. It's hilarious.
I love Baby Yoda.
Nigerian Prince Jeremy says invite her twin sister too. Kathleen Kennedy is a twin, isn't she?
Yep.
I forgot about that. Maybe she's a clone. In fact. See,
I just got permission via text, by the way.
oh my God! There you go. There you have it.
What an angel.
So nice of her to allow you to sleep with the worst woman on the face of the planet to save the best thing in the entire planet.
Just
it is a
think of all the
conundrum.
Awful things she would say to you while you're doing it too.
Oh my God!
Voice is female.
Yeah, actually, nothing worse than what that idiot author said on Twitter today, and I had to repudiate. I was so angry. I can't even begin.
So I'm going to get to that. Let me find the Star Wars. KK can fake orgasms too. It says all the Botox makes it easy to lie with a straight face. All right, I want to pull up this announcement trailer so we can look and go to the part that pissed me off the most about this, and we'll take a look at the stupid what's it called? We'll take a look at the stupid board a little bit too, for this anybody that didn't see that. And we're not going to focus too much on the board because I do think that that's been beat kind of to death. And at the end of the day, it is just a brainstorming session. But most importantly, the people that are involved in writing this are the important ones. And we're going to go over them. Now we are getting into the High Republic. Now, if you didn't see the Project Luminous announcement, the High Republic launch, we're going to show you a little bit of the trailer from that. Just a little bit if you didn't know what it was before. Let me actually close this out. And nope, I did share my audio. All right, good. Yay, nostalgia, guys. Galactic Republic at its height. At its height. Raging Rhino's telling me to check Instagram. Hope these better not be dick pics, Raging Rhino. All right, so we will pause it a little bit every now and then because I don't want to get copyright on this because I'm sure that Lucasfilm would love it, but I don't want to give it to them.
Yeah, God forbid you advertise their shit for them.
Yeah, but they're showing the good stuff. It's like none of us have problems with that. It's this project. I'm sorry, I'm gonna start. I'm sputtering incoherently by this point. This Project Luminous thing. Ugh.
Teresa's so triggered.
I'm triggered. Well, I was okay with it until that lady started talking and going, what kept Star Wars alive? The books. And I'm like, yes, and you took them and to canonize them.
Yes, that was the worst part when that was the beginning of that show, and I was live streaming that. I got a pretty big crowd. That was pretty awesome. Mm-hmm. But that was one of the most irritating parts. That's how they started it. What kept Star Wars alive? The books and the comics. Yeah, no shit, and you fucking threw it away.
Yeah,
that was the fans.
20 years of my life.
They didn't even start the books till like what 8-9 years after Return of the Jedi.
Oh no! I mean,
it was 91.
Well, 91 was Thrawn. Right. That was Heir to the Empire. That was the one that really, I want to say, really kicked stuff off. Mm-hmm. But there was definitely stuff published in between then, for sure. But not a ton. That's the one that really got the ball rolling. Yeah,
that's when it actually started moving. And then
like
by the mid-90s, we were already into the special editions and re-releasing them in the theaters.
And the prequels. Oh.
Yeah, and then the prequels after that.
All right. Let's continue on with this. The High Republic. Now let's figure out how they made this.
We're finding ourselves at a very exciting moment with the Skywalker saga coming to an end. We're at a place of what's next for Star Wars. One of the things we've always done is be able to use our franchise platforms to explore the creative potential of the Star Wars galaxy. And so what if publishing was more of an incubation place and bring in great talent and just let their imaginations run free?
Oh.
Now this is so annoying because this is how things were done with the expanded universe. This is exactly what they did. They brought the story group and the team of writers that were going to be doing this, and they brainstormed things in order to pitch. And then what happened is they did exactly this. They get around, they pitch all these stories, they all come together, they find something they want to do. Once they're ready, they get George involved and say, hey, George, what about this? And he's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. Change this. This is dumb. Don't do that. You can't use Anakin as the hero. you can't use dark side force users; they have to be something else. So we can use Vong. Like this is how it was done, and it's frustrating that they pretend like this is their like brilliant fucking idea.
Right.
But they talk
first group in history to think about getting together to plan something. It's new to Lucasfilm.
That is fucking sure. It is new to Disney Star Wars. Yes. Yes.
Skywalker Ranch is like, that's George's.
It was. I wonder if he sold that as part of it too, right?
Oh my god.
I think so, because Skywalker Sound was there and on the same site, wasn't it?
Yeah, should be. Alice, you don't need to bow out. You're okay. You're all right. You'll be good.
Unique writers' room where we had diverse voices with very different opinions about Star Wars.
Very different opinions about Star Wars. Diverse group of people. There we go.
We all love Star Wars, but we're all coming at it from very different places.
What the?
What, Teresa?
She's like, we all love Star Wars, but we're all coming at it from different places. It's like, I don't believe them when they say that. It's terrible. I guess I shouldn't. It's like, we all love Star Wars. It's like, the writers that they had for the EU had guys like friggin' Timothy Zahn. It's like, who are these people? If you've loved Star Wars, where have you been?
Well, it should be noted that I think all of these people have written Star Wars books before for Disney Star Wars or comics. I don't think Charles Soule has written a novel yet. He will be writing the first novel, but he has done a lot of the more the better received comics, like the Vader novel or the Vader comics.
Okay.
So these guys have been doing it. They've been doing it for Disney Star Wars, however.
Okay. I'll give you that point.
Does that make you feel a little better?
No. I just don't believe them.
Very free environment.
I think they like what they could do with Star Wars.
For everybody to just throw things out there.
That's Claudia Gray, who Claudia Gray will be writing. She's written a couple good stories. But she is a huge, when she keeps her politics out of her writing, she's fine. But if you've looked at her Twitter, much like a lot of these people, it's the patriarchy, white people, white men specifically, all that kind of shit.
Yeah, I'm going to guess there's not really a whole lot of diversity of political idealism in this little seminar.
Yeah,
Or diversity of thought. Or diversity of thought. They all are parroting the same thing. I think I said that today on Twitter too. It's the same line over and over out of every one of their mouths. It's terrible.
Exactly.
We've all done lots of storytelling, but
that's our boy Daniel Jose Older. So we'll be getting into him a little bit later.
Storytelling, but this is unique and really special.
Here's the board.
This is the board that everybody freaked out about. Now, these are what they think fiction should include. This is what they think Star Wars is about, and this is what they want for Star Wars. Obviously, what everybody focused on was this right here, representation/diversity. And dinosaurs. Evidently, dinosaurs are more important than representation and diversity. But
even worse, they actually had to write things down like actual ending, surprise.
Yes, exactly.
It's like, we're going to brainstorm for a book. Here's my idea. Words, pages.
Well, and that is why I think at the end of the day that I think people are taking this board a little too much to heart. Who knows who said that? Who knows what they wanted with this? The not pro-war thing is kind of stupid. I agree that Star Wars isn't. They didn't say anti-war on there. They said not pro-war, which, to be fair, a lot of Star Wars is about avoiding war, especially in the prequels. But the idea that you should have that you need to make some sort of anti-war statement, I think is stupid. And if you have that, then that's dumb.
Yeah.
Well, they made the statements in the prequels to some degree. I mean, it was in there as part of the movies. Lucas's ideology is not a mystery, but it wasn't hammered at you in the movie either.
It was just kind of part of the conflict.
Yeah. Well, like who's pro-war?
Yeah.
Not really anyone.
Yeah. War, what is it good for? But looking at that is not a brainstorming board. Look at the writing. Look at the way it is. They put this together knowing that the cameras were going to be coming in. They made it nice, neat, and tidy. They're just showboat.
Perfectly spaced.
Yeah, that's not how you brainstorm. So they just put up things that they knew that they wanted to be photographed and taken. This isn't even a real brainstorming.
Well, the thing is, I think that this was done beforehand with a smaller group of people before they got the 25 people together to do it. That's what I personally think. Because listen, this says dinosaurs. Dinosaurs is spelled wrong and there's an exclamation point. That's what someone would say if someone like said something stupid. They're like, really? Dinosaurs? All right, we'll put it in there. Dinosaurs.
Yeah, there's no wrong answers. This is a safe space.
Yes, kind of. Exactly. It also says Sith Empire, which doesn't make any sense for this time period, which is another reason I think that why maybe like this is just something they were thinking about going into it. We do have a 10
it's a prop.
You think so? Just for us to get triggered about?
No, I don't. I didn't think people would. I didn't think they'd expect us to zoom in on it and really analyze it like we did. But it was just something like Teresa was mentioning. It is pretty organized. It's well spaced. It's everybody. It's the same person wrote every word on there. It's all the same penmanship. It looks like a prop.
Yeah, it makes sense. So we have another $10 super chat from Primarina Princess. Thank you again so much. I genuinely like Alexander Freed's Rogue One novelization. He wrote Star Wars Purge in 2008, and his novelization was better than the movie, in my opinion. If he has a book, I might give it a shot. That's awesome. And the thing is, like Zahn is writing some Star Wars books still. Timothy Zahn, obviously as a little more well-respected. His are almost kind of standalone, just Thrawn books. It's like all he's relegated to doing. And his are fine. They're not the Thrawn that we know, but they're not like the most offensive thing in the world. So yeah, there are definitely still some good authors that work for them on occasion. Australian super chat, Lethal Lightning. Natasi Dalla screwed everything up. Women equal garbage from Lethal Lightning. Do you have any responses to that, Teresa?
I call BS Lethal Lightning because I know that you like me. So if I'm garbage, you're all for the roses. Now, I do agree. Being a woman, women do screw up everything. That's why I don't like being involved with anything. It's my goal in life to be a kept woman. That's just all there is to it. Just let me spend your money. I'm very good at doing that. Yeah.
There you go, Lethal. Right. You're vindicated. Dr. Jagus, another $5. Thank you. All right. Which one of the soy-based humanoid at this table wanted motherfucking dinosaurs in Star Wars? Unless they're a shirtless Goldblum, then shut the hell up.
Shirtless Goldblum.
Don't put it past them.
Jagus. I know. Hey, I saw some people that were really stoked about dinosaurs in Star Wars. So you never know. Maybe it'll appeal to some people.
Do you think that ignorant person thought of maybe dewbacks?
Listen, there's a lot of, I will actually say this, there are a decent number of species in Star Wars that do kind of look like lizards or what have you. In fact, Boba Fett was riding a Mythosaurus, right? In the holiday special, which is basically by definition a dinosaur. Trandoshans, you could argue, they're very lizard-like. They're kind of like dinosaurs. So many others. So
the Rancor.
Do you think maybe that was their word for creatures?
I don't know, because it says look on the bottom here. It says complicated monsters in Star Wars. Why would you need to write dinosaurs? Yeah, I don't fucking know.
If I'm writing the whiteboard and I'm taking all these ideas from people, if they say dinosaurs, I'd be like, oh, that's good idea, but maybe too specific. Let's just write creatures, not dinosaurs.
To me, this thing has always looked like a corporate retreat board, because if you've ever been to one of those, you end up with somebody.
God, they're horrible.
Yeah, you end up with somebody at the front of the room that's writing down all the things that everybody's spitting out, and that's if you have a decent group, you have people talking. Otherwise, just one idiot saying the same, 10 ideas, and then
everybody else at the seminar wants to go the hell home.
Yeah, you probably want to hit the table to get some craps money or something. I don't know, but anyway.
Exactly.
That's right. Yeah, crate dragons. Crate dragons are a great example too of something very much like a dinosaur as well. But let's continue on here. Let's get past this, and we might see the actual brainstorming board here. We won't watch the whole thing because they go into a lot of the enemies and things. We don't really need to hear about that.
The idea that this thing has been simmering for so long.
It's the secret history of the galaxy.
Yep, that goes way back to the beginning of Star Wars.
We gave them essentially a blank slate. What
Pablo. Oh, there's Jose.
would you like
Daniel Jose.
Hates us all.
A line that we've been hearing since 1977. And we thought, what does that look like?
It is a gold.
Again, 1,000 generations, yet you're going 200 years before the movies. This is the golden age.
And again, they're acting like they just thought of it. Like, wow, what does that look like? Like, we've been imagining that since the first movie.
Yes, and we've been playing it in SWTOR and KOTOR.
Right.
Like, we have these stories.
Golden age where there's much more peace and calm in the galaxy. So we're calling it the High Republic.
The description that we've used for the Jedi of this era is that they are the Jedi Knights of the Round Table.
But Star Wars...
Teresa, why do you hate that so much? You hate knights?
No, Knights of the Round Table. Okay, the Jedis of this time were thinking that they're the Knights of the Round Table. First of all, leave friggin' King Arthur alone. But not only that, then what's the High Council?
I don't know. Yeah.
It's like, what are they talking about?
I think that what they mean by that is they're like actively going on kind of quests. You know what I mean? That's what I think by that. Like Arthurian Legends was on that board as well for Star Wars wishes. So maybe that's kind of what they mean.
I think what they're going to want, what we'll probably end up with is a bunch of Indiana Jones with lightsabers.
Yeah, and it did say there's going to be several main characters all kind of have their own stories that they're probably eventually going to all culminate. You know what I mean?
Star Wars isn't just about Jedi, and we will tell stories of new smugglers, new scoundrels, new bounty hunters.
The threat and the tension really comes from the Republic's borders, because the Republic does not extend from one side of the galaxy to the other.
It's a bit of a Wild West new frontier. We see a different kind of Jedi that patrols the frontiers. It is more of a Texas Ranger.
We're now bringing
border politics.
Visualists.
Yeah, yes, border politics. Can't wait, right?
Yep, I'm excited. Build the space wall.
We even have
Now, I will say that so there's a sketch of Yoda right here. I don't know if you can see that. Now, when people were first telling me, oh, Yoda is going to be in it, I said he probably is, but they're like, look at this poster in the back. And I'm like, I mean, come on, it's just a poster, right? This could just be literally anywhere, right?
Right.
But then if you look close at this picture down here, people are saying they think that is a sketch of Yoda. Let's see if I can get full screen. You can't really see it that well, but they think this little image right here is actually a sketch of Yoda. So they do think that Yoda is going to be in this. I don't see how they couldn't. Like a little appearance. I don't know how.
Right. We all know he's alive.
Crazy.
So the natural question is going to be, well, where is he? It's like the Mandalorian. We know Luke's alive, but where the hell is he?
Yeah.
What's he doing?
The dumbest thing about this whole thing, and I think we can probably get rid of that for now. The dumbest thing to me is the fact that you have this huge fucking event that evidently happened 200 years before the prequels. And the Jedi used to go about this thing like completely differently, yet in only 200 years, they've become completely complacent, which is why we had what we had happen. But, is that enough time? Would Yoda let that happen? Like after seeing all he'd seen, that's the part that I really struggle with. At least you can say right now, because before they didn't see a Sith for millennia, Yoda lived for 900 out of that millennia. You could be like, well, Yoda wasn't there to see like what had happened before. But now you can't say that.
No.
Right.
Well, and when I was watching the live stream with you and Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, I had commented, it almost also kind of sounds like DS9, that there's this little space station, it's a travel area, and I'm like, well, we've already seen that. It's like Star Wars DS9.
Yeah, I'm not super familiar with that, but yeah, the whole beacon thing, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Deep Space Nine was out in the rougher area of the Federation, and there was a space station that was right by a wormhole, which is where people traveled back and forth. So it's like, it just sounds derivative to me.
Now, without taking into account the people involved in this, all the authors, everything that we're going to talk about, how would you feel about them doing this, going to an era that is unexplored in both the expanded universe and in Disney canon, with the ability to craft something completely original, all connected? How would you guys feel about that? We'll start with Culture Casino.
Not taking the authors into account, and
yeah,
trying to not freak out because the last 3 movies were awful. I would say that if it were Favreau and Filoni maybe that were leading the story group, I'd feel better about it. Currently, because of the way the story group derives their stories, I wouldn't have had much faith in it, and I can't separate how I feel about what's happened in the past or recent past from what I would expect in the future. And I think that going into an era that is unexplored just gives them more of an opportunity to blow up canon. I mean, you brought it up already. Yoda's been around forever. I mean, Yoda still exists in this timeline. It's going to be a hot mess. Sorry.
Yeah, I hear you. What about you, Teresa?
My thinking about it, objectively speaking, would have been okay if they had maybe done it maybe 500 years before and not tried this High Republic thing. But to do something unexplored, that's always welcome. The way I'm right now enjoying the EU things about the Old Republic and some of those X-Wing stories. Objectively speaking, maybe, except for the fact that I'm still haunted by the fact that it's how do we know that they're just not gonna cancel it all? Because there was all this fanfare back with the EU and when they did their new Jedi Order, and we got burned so badly when they're like, oh, never mind. How do we know they're not just gonna never mind this? I don't trust them.
Fair enough. What about yourself, Lost Jedi?
No trust and no faith, because the people behind it's still Disney, and they can still screw up things. Like they can stay away from the characters in the Old Republic or the period where Luke is, or even the sequel trilogies. They still can mess with Force powers. They still can mess with the lore of the Force. They can try too hard to define it. I think it's better left as a mystery with a little mystique behind it. Mm-hmm. The more they try and explain it, the worse it gets, and I don't think they'll be able to help themselves. Yeah, they're going to try and tie it to everything else, because I don't think they have to. I don't think there's an audience for this. Who's going to buy it?
That's the thing, is not many people. Now, what I believe, and this is all just speculation based on some other people that supposedly got told things, all that stuff. Now, just take it with a grain of salt. Mm-hmm. They were supposed to make announcements for what the next movies were going to be in January. They didn't. Mm-hmm. They were also supposed to make this Project Luminous announcement in January. They didn't. Got pushed out to February. All this was changed after Dan and Dave got fired. Rumors about not fired, but they left. Sorry. Rumors abound about them working on an Old Republic era film, something set in the past, something involving Jedi. I wholeheartedly believe that they were working on High Republic stuff, that it was going to all combine. Because we haven't heard anything about what the next movie is going to be. It's still on the docket, December 2022. And we haven't heard any announcements about who exactly is going to be doing that. Could we get an announcement at Celebration in August? I suppose.
It's too late. They'd have to start producing the pre-production now. It's 2 years to do a Star Wars movie is the mistake they made with the prequels.
Pre-production
was the sequels.
You're absolutely right, because pre-production should have started anywhere between 3 and 6 months ago. You have to get
it takes time.
Yeah, you have to get all your ducks in order. You have to get sound stages in order. You have to get your locations. You have to scout those locations. You are 3 years in front of a movie before its date at a minimum. Sometimes movies will be in development for 5. I mean,
particularly for these kind of movies. This isn't just a set in modern times, go film it in Toronto kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. You're not just getting shots on the streets. With little After Effects really needed. Yeah, exactly. Go ahead.
My big question is, where were the video game people? Where was EA in this brainstorming thing? They're not planning to involve them at all?
Again, that was another rumor about it, was supposed to involve a video game. It was supposed to be a whole multimedia project involving movies, video game, comics, books.
It didn't even look like they were at the table, though.
No, it sure does. Well, who knows who's at that table, to be honest. There's like 25 people there.
EA and DICE still have how many years left on their contract with Disney Star Wars? Is it 3 or 4?
I thought it was through like 2022, but I'm not sure.
Okay, I'd have to look that up again, but I know that contract will come to an end, and I know they're really interested in continuing to develop games for Star Wars, so that's why that's curious. But I also know, and this is what made all the Star Wars movies so great, at least the original trilogy, which, by the way, I saw when it first came out. I'm old enough to have done that. Yeah. So, but the reason they were so great is because they used physical locations. They had physical sets. You of course you had a lot of mats when they were in space or in a space station or things like that. But they used physical spaces, and Game of Thrones did the same thing. If you want to create an epic scene, you have to physically have an epic space, and that's usually a real existing landscape somewhere on our planet. So.
And it takes time to plan to shoot in all these exotic locations.
Oh, yeah, you have to get so much. The logistics of that are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, I could go on for hours on just trying to get just power to a location, a remote location, having petroleum there to fuel your for your generators, et cetera, et cetera. So.
Oh yeah, that's stuff I don't even think about, but they're out
in
the middle of nowhere filming. They have to plug the cameras in.
When you're in Tanzania, there's you got to have like production trucks you have to ship someplace, because the kind of equipment that Skywalker Technologies was using was not stuff that you were going to find off the shelf at the Radio Shack, way back when they were doing that. So yeah, there's a lot more to it, and that's why these movies take 3-5 years, and that's probably the reason that the quality of the recent movies was so poor, and why they use so many green screen shots. I mean, it was very disappointing. If you want epic, you have to go places.
I think it's one of the primary reasons that they couldn't get JJ to do all 3 movies initially, is because he couldn't do that kind of film schedule. No. Now, I don't think it would have been better had he done all 3. Not much better, but at least the middle one would have made sense in the trilogy.
Yeah, and you think about the timeline. You think about the timeline that we saw in Colin Trevorrow's script, which was early December 2017. That script that leaked. That was, is it 2017 or 2016?
I think it was 2017.
Either way, it was before Carrie Fisher died.
Right.
So it was right before Carrie Fisher died. So whether it's 2 or 3 years, you know, they still were going to do that. They still hadn't moved on to JJ yet. He hadn't written his story. They haven't done any of that. That's one of the things they talked about, how rushed this movie was. The fact that JJ was literally editing on set. They would go and they'd shoot something, and the editor was standing like in a tent next to the set. And between shots, he would go in there and make editing decisions, which is like unheard of.
If you believe the rumors, they were scripting on set also. So it was fly by the seat of your pants filming. It was awful.
Guys, why didn't they do all 3 at once? Like, I mean, they did it with Lord of the Rings 15 years ago. Like, I think they would have saved a ton of money on production costs rather than build all these sets, tear them down, then build them back up again for the next movie. Just film all 3 right back to back.
You need a mind like Peter Jackson to do something like that, and J.J. Abrams is,
then hire him.
Yeah, well, J.J. Abrams is not him. Let me tell you.
Yeah, that's for damn.
I mean,
sure.
I think Peter Jackson put more time and effort into the artwork on a doorway in The Lord of the Rings than any of these other people put in the whole trilogy.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I saw Stieg said something. He said, "Oh, send the story group to Tanzania with 1 cup of piss," says Stieg. So I think a lot of people would agree with you. But speaking of the story group and writers, things like that, let's take a look at. Well, let's actually take a look at Daniel Jose Older first, and what he said yesterday. Let's see. All right. Daniel Jose Older, who is going to be the author and part of some of this High Republic era, has said this on Twitter. I can't believe he put this out. Not even a week after this announcement. Not even a week after we criticized. They wanted respect. All we wanted was respect. Maybe there's a chance for them to do that. Respect the fans. Respect the continuity. All that stuff. My new favorite argument is Star Wars has betrayed me, a true fan, by having characters that don't look like me. So I will leave the fandom to those fake fans who, checks notes, have always been fans even when no one looked like them. So have any of our criticisms about the Disney trilogy, just in this stream today, been about what someone looks like?
Nope.
I can't recall it. There's
Such
been
a
too much
straw
other
man.
shit. Go ahead, Teresa.
Oh, I was going to say it's a total straw man. There's so much straw in that you could make an army of scarecrows out of it. He's setting up an argument that no one has made and then refuting it and then patting himself on the back on it. And how on earth can he even think he could do this without coming off like a grade A-HOLE?
I came prepared.
Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, exactly. And the number of people who are actually upset about a female lead or a black character is so fucking insignificant. It's so fucking insignificant that it's literally not even worth talking about. So this is so lazy and so tiresome. And it's fucking frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think, Culture Casino?
This guy generated pure rage. And as I read on, I got more and more upset. So I let him have it in full. If you can find my response to this tweet, that'd be great, because there's no way I could actually read it because I'm pretty upset. This guy triggered me. Never understood that word before. I am 100% triggered by this ridiculous dude. He's got no clue what the arguments are of the fandom menace. He has no idea the people that constitute the fandom menace. This is the biggest hodgepodge of humanity you'll ever find as a group, and it's an incredibly loose group of people that can disagree and not call each other names, unless you're that Star Wars girl who got put in Twitter jail. But that was a joke. But this particular guy, he doesn't get. Well, none of them do. And I've said it before. They're creatively bankrupt. They just like J.J. Abrams, they steal all their ideas. and they insert all their politics into it. They are not capable of writing a story, an actual. We have a hero. He goes on a quest. He has challenges along the way. He meets compatriots. They become important. He learns from them, and ultimately he realizes his goal. And sometimes, as I've said before in one of my videos I did not too long ago, you reach that goal, and sometimes there's another goal. You thought that was what you needed, but now you have something else you have to accomplish, and that's how you end up with trilogies. So
yeah,
these guys aren't capable of doing that, and his thought process is so weak. This is what he thinks of you. This is what he thinks of all of us. He's pretty dumb.
Exactly. Not even a week after this announcement, you can't keep your fucking mouth shut. It's disgusting. But Mexican Iron Man says, to Daniel Ryder, dude, as for your tweet, said no Mexican Star Wars fan ever. Exactly. And that's apropos because he just sent in a big super chat. Thank you, Mexican Iron Man, 1999. Thank you, brother. Another patron. Again, everyone on the panel here are my top tier patrons, and I'm very happy they're with me today. We get to talk about Star Wars. Please subscribe to their channels. Their links are in the description. I think the first thing in the description down below, so make sure you go and check them out. But Mexican Iron Man says, oh, you're welcome, Teresa. Thank you. RK, just finished Thrawn trilogy as per your recommendation. Best therapy. Thanks, bro. FYI, use of high versus old because they virtue signal. Past is bad, but their views are higher, aka superior to ours. Hashtag Disney arrogance sucks. Very
Good
interesting.
point.
Yeah, very interesting. And I'm glad you. Go ahead.
They do pick their words very well. You are absolutely 100%. They virtue signal in almost anything that they send out.
That's true. And I agree that, like, oh, first, I agree that the Thrawn trilogy is awesome. Glad you read it. Keep reading, bro. There's so much good stuff in the EU. But yeah, I always thought the High Republic was just going to be a way so they didn't have to use the phrase Old Republic. I never expected it to be quite this close. I thought it'd be a little closer than Old Republic was, but not this close. It's crazy. But thank you for that super chat, Mexican Iron Man. Appreciate you. It sounds like Jose is saying they don't need to add any more diversity, huh? Says Neil Valentine, another patron. I mean, since the Disney fans don't need anybody to look like them. Exactly. That's kind of what I thought too when I read it. And then another $5 super chat from Blue Blood 71, Latino Star Wars fan here. I apologize for that piece of shit, Jose. We're not all like that. No wonder Star Wars is dead. Won't be buying their trash books. There you go, Blue Blood. And, you know, unlike Daniel Jose Older and so many of these other people that work at Lucasfilm or for Lucasfilm, I don't think anyone on the panel here is going to judge any one person for their affiliations or for their race or for anything else. So don't worry about it. Not at all.
I won't actually judge you personally for even your opinions, but yeah. I might not agree with them.
I'll judge someone for their actions. I think that's about it.
Yeah. That's the only thing you can judge him for.
Exactly.
Well, and sure, and the whole thing about him making these judgment calls on people, there's just such a lack of professionalism on it. That's just what just strikes me. It's like, listen, pal, you're supposed to be the professional, and you're sitting up there being so arrogant, like checks notes, this, and this, and insults your customers. It's just so incomprehensible to me.
Yeah, exactly. And they don't get it, but it doesn't matter. Like, they let them do this. They let them sit there and do this. But let's get back. Let's read this finishing string of tweets. Someone the other day was in our mentions. How dare they? Saying that Star Wars has always been diverse. I just don't see alien creatures as humans, which, well, yes, I admit it. But it's interesting to track how the series has evolved in its treatment of non-human sentient species. The Empire stays pretty solidly human, while the Rebellion increasingly has a cross-section of being types, which were mostly presented as the other early on. Then the last one, which is the big one here. Anyway, these are the cats leaving 1-star reviews on Star Wars books that haven't even gotten to our editors yet, not to mention been released to the public. So if you love a Star Wars author or any author, please do drop a review on their, I don't know what GR is, /Amazon, and let the world know. Well, Goodreads. There it is. Now, listen, I checked Amazon. I wanted to see how many 1-star reviews. I wanted to see the review bombing that took place. But guess what? You can't fucking review an Amazon book that hasn't been released yet. And there are 0 ratings on there.
So he's lying.
0.
Oh, he lies about everything. You just go through his Twitter feed. I was crazy enough to do that this morning, and I literally wanted to smash my head against the wall a bunch. It was bad.
Yes, it's just a blatant lie, and a lot of people called him out on it. Let's read this response right here. It's odd that someone who represents a company that values profit more than employees would risk said future employment by deliberately costing them sales. Your limited worldview and clear political agenda flies in the face of profit. Actually, limited applies to you in many ways. Damn. Damn. That's cold. That's cold.
That wasn't very nice.
A lot of people responding. A lot of people responding right now to him, especially with this right here. Daniel Jose Older barks something about looking. Let's see what it is. Looking like them. And this is, of course, Ichibaka on Disney Star Wars is dumb. If you watch my video today, I did a lot of stuff using Ichibaka. Oh, look at this. Ryan Kinel comments. Thank you, Ichi. Look at that.
Oh.
Ichi tagged me in there. I do love this thumbnail, by the way.
Nice guy.
But guys, if you are not subscribed, following Ichibaka, anything like that, please do so. And visit his site, Disney Star Wars is Done. He does a lot of great work. Specifically, let's see if I can find it. God, there's so much crap that he's been able to do lately because of these insane people. But I wanted to just scroll through a couple pages of things that Daniel Jose Older has said in regards to white people, just to give you guys a real idea. This isn't the first time that he's freaked out about race. God, Ichi's been killing it lately. Where is it? Project Luminous hates old white men. Here it is. Now, these are all of Claudia Gray's tweets about white people, old white people, all of that stuff. Yeah, no problem, guys. This is all of Claudia Gray's tweets about this kind of thing. That's not too much. That's not too much. Justina Ireland, things here. Her talking about race, her talking about how much she dislikes white people in some way, shape, or form. All these things that white people did. But Daniel Jose Older's section. Daniel Jose Older's section is much, much bigger. Literally, look at all this scrolling I have to do for when he is talking about race, when he is talking about white people being shitty, when he is talking about problems he has because of white people, when he's talking about cultural problems because of white people. I'm still fucking scrolling. These are the people, 3 of the 5 people that are involved with crafting this project. I'm still fucking scrolling. That's Daniel Jose Older of the past couple years. He's still employed by Lucasfilm, been working for Lucasfilm all this time. But, and Alice in the chat, I'm so sad. This is just bad. Worse than bad. It's miserable. Fuck my life. Can we end the stream on a happy note, please? We will end the note on a happy stream. We'll smile as we end it because it's so depressing and infuriating. We will when we get to that point. I promise you, Alice. Alice is someone who was a fan of Daniel Jose Older and didn't understand all the shit that he's been saying for so many years. So I do apologize to you. But were you able to take a look at all this at any point, Culture Casino, with all of this shit that he's been saying for years?
Oh, yeah. Like I said today, I went back through it and I couldn't believe it. But he's not the only one. And I'm sorry I stepped away for a moment, but he's not the only one. Every single one of these people are I hate to say the word racist. Ignorant. Every single one of these people are ignorant, and they say ignorant stuff, and they've been saying it for years. And I don't know that this is the kind of person that you want representing you as a company. You don't make money. I mean, Michael Jordan was smart enough to say Republicans wear tennis shoes too, or Nikes, or whatever. He to that effect, I paraphrased. But he was smart enough to realize that you don't alienate your audience, you don't alienate your fans, you don't alienate your customers, and every single one of these people has been going out of their way to do it. It is incredibly frustrating, especially when you're the person or part of a group of people that's being alienated. It's terribly frustrating. We built, as the fans, we built this brand. It belongs to us. That's what fandom means. It belongs to all of us, everybody. Just like Doctor Who belongs to everybody, just like Star Trek belongs to everybody, Star Wars belongs to us. DC belongs to us. I'm looking forward to the Batman movie, but that's a tangent. But Star Wars belongs to everybody. So stop pissing off half of everybody, or even more than half of everybody, because they're really not making fans.
Yeah, you shouldn't try to alienate anyone if you want to run a business. And if Lucasfilm wants to run a business, I would stop employing people that are constantly alienating so many others. What are your thoughts, Teresa, just about his history and the fact that he is employed? It just seems like Chuck Wendig all over again, to be quite honest.
Yeah, and I can tell you this right now. If I put something like that on social media, by tomorrow morning, I would be getting a pink slip. I don't know any other kind of employment where you're allowed to say this about your customers. It's like you just can't. And the fact that they are and nothing seems to be happening, because nothing about what he wrote made me go, you know what, I was wrong. I maybe need to look at this Luminous. Now, you know what would have been smart? If he had come out and said, hey, listen, I know you all maybe have some feelings, maybe you feel a little bit of disappointment, all that. You know what? Give us a chance. We've heard you. We've put together this great thing. I would be honored if you all, when Project Luminous comes out, come on, go ahead and buy it. Let us surprise you. That's what a professional does, and that could win us back. It could win me back.
Yeah, exactly. I think I tried to keep, I don't really have an open mind, but I tried to keep as open one as I could. You know what I mean? Because I expected this. I've been following this Project Luminous stuff from the beginning. I knew all the people involved with it months ago. So I already had my expectations, but you do need to see, all right, well, let's see what they can give us until they show us they can't. Maybe this is a fresh start, but they've already shown that it's just not. We have an Australian 99 cents from Raging Rhino. Thank you, Raging Rhino. I appreciate you. Primarina Princess, again, for another $10. You're being so generous tonight. Thank you so much. I never saw women as underrepresented in Star Wars, since Leia was an icon to me and Padme was my favorite character, both of which were involved in politics and they didn't stand down without a fight. Yeah, two extremely iconic characters, Padme Amidala and Leia Organa. I don't think she would have been very compelling if she appeared as Leia Organa Solo, but not to be had, unfortunately. But thank you so much. It's a great point. Those are beloved to so many people. And then Lethal Lightning for Australian $2. Lethal Lightning says, I am Patreon, gay boy. Lethal Lightning, I just checked the Gmail. Lethal Lightning did just sign up for Patreon, so thank you, Lethal. I will thank all my patrons at the end of this stream before we sign off. I do appreciate each and every one of you guys. Thank you so much, Lethal. I appreciate you. Is that going to be your Patreon name, gay boy?
Gosh.
We'll have to see. But
it should be.
It should be. But what do you think, Lost Jedi? You didn't get a chance to weigh in just on his entire history and the fact that he's that they're just okay with hiring these people who just spout whatever they want on Twitter.
Again, it's par for the course for Disney. I'm just waiting for the narrative next week when he rage quits on Twitter that we all ran the Hispanic man off of Twitter because we're racist fans. Or hear that story for 2 years.
Oh, well, I mean, it's already starting.
As soon as he quits Twitter, it's going to be because we ran him off.
I'm never going to forget this, and I will be happy to remind them, because Amy Ratcliffe, like Ryan just pulled up, and this other dude, and Pablo Hidalgo, and all these other people on Twitter, I'm never going to forget it. I'll be happy to bring all of it up to everyone, because this is the kind of stuff that runs off your fans, and the companies that employ them need to realize that. So.
Well, I just like, if you're going to have a social media account, particularly if you're a public professional, it is not harassment when people respond to your stupid takes.
Yes.
You put a comment out in the public forum, people responded. If you don't want responses, don't put that shit out in the public forum. That's not harassment at all. It's just, we disagree, and we're just like, he put out his opinion, we're putting out ours. There's no difference. Yeah. But this idea that on Twitter, that anytime that you have a counterpoint to make, that you're somehow harassing the original authors, it's getting really old.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Fucking come up, hit a bunch of people, and then complain when you get shit thrown back at you. It's the same thing over and over again. But Krista makes a great point. Krista Joe, why the hell hasn't Lucasfilm or Disney created a social media policy for their employees to adhere to, especially since a large portion of the backlash is due to employees attacking customers? Great point. And Brianna says they want places like Disney want all the money, not some. When you make 50% of the customers mad, you won't get all the money. Agreed, Brianna.
Exactly.
I don't think there's a company out there that doesn't have a social media policy, at least some boilerplate downloadable one. Mm-hmm. Like even small companies have them now.
Disney
does. They don't. Is obviously the people in charge endorse their opinions. I mean, that's the only logical conclusion, is that they believe the same thing.
Yep.
And they just can't take criticism. Anytime anybody criticizes anything that they do, they're so thin-skinned, they just can't have it. They just can't take it.
They take it personally is the problem, instead of taking it as a criticism on their work. I mean, I got criticized when I released a video yesterday, and I thanked the person that criticized me. You have to accept criticism. You should take it to heart if it actually has some validity. It's what improves you.
Or ignore it if you don't find it valuable. You don't
have to. 100%. Yeah, I mean, you do with it what you will, but you don't attack the person that gave you the criticism. 99% of the time, they're trying to help you improve, or they're giving you their opinion about where you could. It's worth it.
We clearly know who raised his hand at the little board meeting and came up with the idea for inclusion.
I think I put that on Twitter, or maybe it was YouTube. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, ultimately, I've always been of the opinion with actors and everyone that is in the entertainment field that it's really only prudent to just tweet about your show. And there's several actors. One I'm thinking of is Josh Dallas. He's with the show Manifest. You go through his feed. It's always, hey, the show's coming on tonight. Hope you watch. Thanks for watching. Or maybe a picture of him at an awards show. Just keeping it straight, just generic, nothing personal.
Self-promotion.
Self-promotion. And thanks, we've got the best fans ever. Thank you. With hearts. Anything more than that, if you are in the entertainment industry, it's stupid.
The Expanse showrunner does the same thing. He's 100% out there, just rah for his product, and there's no attacks on fans, and that show came back because of the fans. So
just thank the fans and be done with it. I mean, it could be a very useful tool and a way to interact with your fans. You can answer questions about characters and things like that, but hey, if somebody comes at you because they don't like your character or what you wrote or whatever, just ignore them. Don't alienate your fans or don't alienate your customers. It's just bad business.
Yeah.
Apparently, publicists have no idea how to do their job anymore, or there's just none of them left, or actors don't hire them anymore. Because could you imagine, publicists that did their jobs 20 years ago, how they would be reacting to what their clients do now?
They'd be flipping. Out.
They'd be like, look, I can't represent you if that's what you're going to do. I can't dig you out of that hole.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like it's accepted. It's accepted from everyone. Everyone that works in Hollywood thinks the same fucking way, so they don't care ultimately. They don't care if a bunch of people on Twitter who are just consumers don't like them. Ultimately, I don't think they have any respect for us.
No, they outright hate us. I mean, they perceive that we voted a particular way, and they hate us for it. That's really what it kind of comes down to.
That's a great point. They're making assumptions, but yeah, that is a great point.
Well,
they don't know how we vote.
And they paint everybody with a broad brush. And you know, another monster. I'm watching the chat. By the way, the chat is killing it. It's amazing. It's fun to watch while we go. But another monster said lefties don't like woke culture either. And you know, how would anybody know what anybody's politics are unless they're standing there telling you? You know, and you know, I know that the people that I know and am friends with, they're not making decisions based on that. They're making decisions based on a good story. So just leave the politics out of it, but they can't. They just can't.
Yeah.
Well, and isn't the definition of bigotry? The definition of bigotry is the inability to see a point of view other than your own.
That's 100% right.
So who are the bigots? Who are the bigots?
Good point. Anyway. We have a $5 super chat from Mega Man ZX for $5. Doesn't say anything, but we appreciate it just the same. Thank you very much, Mega Matt. I appreciate that. So let's just quickly look at what Amy Ratcliffe said. Now, this wasn't too long after I actually made a video and tagged Daniel Jose Alder in mine. But she is retweeting this guy, Tom, who he says, I wish I could tell you the intensity of Star Wars discourse or the way some readers feel it is appropriate to treat writers hasn't had an impact on finding new authors willing to write for Star Wars. I wish I could tell you that. I really, really do. Now, Tom is an editor at Del Rey. So he works for Del Rey Books.
Wait, I call bull BS. He's saying he's having trouble getting people, if I'm hearing this correctly, having trouble getting people to write for Star Wars because how Star Wars authors are treated?
Yes.
Did I hear that correct?
Yes.
Maybe they don't like the limitations they're being put on them.
That's great. That's great ABS. Any writer would kill to write for Star Wars, and how they're being treated. Well, you know what grown-ups do, and I know an actress that does this. She has her secretary do her social media and look at it and weed it out. No, there's no one out there that's not. I mean, gee whiz, people would kill to work for Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think the limitations that they're putting on these authors and the fact that they threw out half of their old work might make them a little bit bitter. I mean, imagine you wrote 10 novels for the old EU and all your characters and all your creations got thrown out. And here you were thinking you might have had a chance to get some royalties for the characters you created, and they just threw them all in the trash.
That's true.
Oh, well, for sure that. But I'm just saying, if I'm hearing this guy correctly, he's saying because the fans will be so mean to them. If that's what he's saying, am I understanding that correctly?
That is what he's saying.
That's what he's implying.
Yeah, so then, cry me a friggin' river, you big baby.
Nobody's going to read the books.
River.
And I'll just say the worst outrage I had ever seen about a Star Wars book was Vector Prime, when a character that was much beloved got killed. And R.A. Salvatore took a ton of backlash for that from people who wanted their Star Wars to always be for children, evidently. Probably people that really love the Clone Wars now. But it was just like the idea. He came back and wrote the Attack of the Clones novelization, even after all of that. So I find it really hard to believe any of this. But Amy Ratcliffe retweets this and says, what if people didn't harass Star Wars authors? Wouldn't that be neat? And Amy Ratcliffe is a writer at StarWars.com. She also wrote the critically acclaimed Star Wars Women of the Galaxy book, which good for you, Amy. Glad you wrote that.
They're worth a lot. They only printed 2.
Yes, that's true. She may be upset that she didn't get the royalties. Maybe she didn't get the royalties. But then she says, it's so easy not to be an asshat if you don't like a book or comic. Talk to your friends about it. Journal about it. Write a thoughtful review. Do not attack or tag the author. And of course, I did make a video specifically about Daniel Jose Older and tagged him in my tweet about it. But everyone responded with what literally Daniel Jose Older just said fucking hours before this. He went out and attacked fans. With no provocation, anything like that. Just came out and fucking attacked fans. It's so easy not to be an asshat. That's what she says. Do not attack or tag the author. Who fucking cares? Twitter, it's Twitter. Who fucking cares? Guess what? If you don't like someone, they're going to fucking block you or something like that. That happens all day, every day.
Who reads every single post in their timeline?
No.
You can mute a whole thread if you want to.
Yeah. And if you don't want to be added, well, then don't bloody well be on Twitter.
Well,
that's what it's for.
Yeah, I think that the idea that instead of being loud if you don't like something, you should just shut up. That's what they want you to do. They don't want to hear any fucking criticism. They want you to write a thoughtful review. Do not attack or tag the author. Don't let the author know you don't like his book. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
And that's really somebody who doesn't know anything about business, because the worst kind of customer to lose is the one that just walks away, doesn't come back, and never says anything. They just stop coming back.
Exactly.
Because you don't know.
It's like what Ryan was saying earlier. The scariest thing is complacency.
Yeah.
Well, the last thing the last thing a customer does is leave. That's the last thing they do.
Yeah, and they just don't come back, and you never hear why. You don't even know what you did wrong. You have no idea. It could be one of the people working underneath you or one of your coworkers pissed them off, and you're just not going to get their business anymore. And they didn't even bother to tell you why, because they just were like, well, there's plenty of other choices out there. It's not like there's no other books to read.
That's right. And then Matt Martin, member of the story group, says, what if people didn't harass anyone? Matt Martin, who was in that story group with them. Matt Martin, I would say one of the more tolerable almost people in the story group. But it's a pretty low bar, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But is someone who does take a lot of time to respond to fans on Twitter. He hasn't blocked everybody, which is more you can say for most members of the story group. So
they have their accounts on, they just have them privated, don't they? Like Pablo? Or does he blockchain?
So I think he blocked a ton of people and went private because he only follows like 300 people, or 300 people follow him now or something like that. So I think he blockchained then privated.
Yeah.
That's what I think happened.
And they're acting like big babies. It's like, I'm a musician. Oh my gosh. Do you know how often, a classical musician, how often you get criticized for one little way you did one little note or one little everything? And it's just part of the job. And you always say, thanks for the feedback. And or you don't listen to it. They're acting like, oh my gosh, no one's ever been criticized in the history of humanity. It's part of being a grown-up. You just deal with it. And move on.
Yeah. Star Wars is the first thing that's ever been hated on before by fan groups. Yep.
Exactly.
Everybody loved Jurassic Park 3. Nobody complained about that.
Oh God.
Isaac Asimov, the greatest science fiction writer of all time, and many would argue the whole reason that we have it. It was criticized regularly. In some of the magazine pieces that he wrote, he put short stories forward. Those were criticized and panned. The guy was one of the greatest writers ever, and he just soaked it up and got better.
Yeah.
We got a $5 super chat from Mega Man ZX. Ahsoka Tano is one of my favorite characters. I hated her at first, but as the Clone Wars progressed, I fell in love with her character.
Yeah, me
well,
too.
that is awesome, Mega Man ZX. I know a lot of people feel the same way. I'm not as big a fan of Ahsoka as most people are, but I'm glad that you really enjoy the character. Thank you for the super chat. I know Teresa feels the same way.
Yeah, I love Ahsoka. Yeah, she just became so awesome the more she went on. Ahsoka
And then
love.
Larry, without respect, we reject 100%. 100%. Now that's pretty much the Star Wars stuff we had. I wanted to talk real quick about something that is for the fans, and that is a fan movement called Release the Snyder Cut. Now, I don't think I've talked to any of you guys about that. Just quickly, Culture Casino, how do you feel about the Snyder cut of Justice League? Is it something you'd be interested in seeing?
I want to see it. You don't even have to finish the question. I absolutely want to see it. I want to see it. I wanted to see it. I wanted to see the first. I wanted to see that movie. I didn't want to see what we got. I wanted to see that movie with the way those characters were portrayed, with the way the story was going. That's what I wanted to see. That is not what I got.
Gotcha. Teresa, what about you?
I objectively speaking could care less. I don't care one little bit about the Justice League, but I'm a terrible, horrible, following sheep of a person where I'm just on the hashtag release the Snyder cut because it's so much fun.
That's right.
I won't even watch it if it comes out, but I love the movement. I think it's great. Anytime that fans can bond over something like that, and when Gal Gadot and all the actors got in on it too.
Yeah.
Long live the hashtag.
Absolutely. All right. I like that. What about you, Lost Jedi?
I'm released the Snyder cut as well. I actually enjoyed the DCEU movies as a whole. They're not masterpieces, but I really wanted to see where he was going to go with it, and I can't stand Joss Whedon, so his comedy and his little quippiness, I didn't like in the Marvel movies. I think it became fashionable to hate DCEU movies.
Yeah.
Just because it was a cool thing to hate. If you're cool if you liked Marvel and, not cool if you like the DCEU. Personally, I like the DCEU better, and I think Marvel gets a pass on some pretty awful writing and some pretty awful movies that are honestly worse than Justice League.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so that's interesting to hear those perspectives. Obviously, I am a huge release the Snyder Cut person. Now, we know that Ben Affleck came out and said that he feels like everyone should see it. He was obviously a part of that. He tweeted out, release the Snyder Cut. On Valentine's Day, there was a big art contest on Twitter, on social media, where you could submit fan art for like a Justice League poster, and Zack Snyder would pick the top 4 and eventually pick a winner.
Wow.
Now, it happened on Valentine's Day because 2:14 is the running time of Justice League 214 minutes, 3 hours and 34 minutes of Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Wow.
Nice.
Okay. That says he's gonna reveal who wins on his birthday. Today's his birthday, so did he release that?
He has released it.
Wow.
So we're gonna see the winner. So we'll go through. These are the couple submissions. Here's one with Darkseid, who obviously would have been very involved in Zack Snyder's version of Justice League and the follow-up, with every DCEU character basically reflected in his armor, including this famous shot right there.
Nice.
This is a pretty interesting one. Darkseid looming over with Clark in the background, with the rest of the team up front, and then you had this fourth one that looks a little more like animated style, not really the realistic type that you had before, but still pretty cool. Now, one of the very interesting things. Hold on, I want to pull this down before I accidentally share it. I don't want to reveal the winner yet. I want to reveal the prize that is really the important part of this, guys, because the prize is another maybe hint. So this is the prize. It's the slate we used every day on the set of Justice League, and on the back, something more. So this is what it says. It is the slate they used for the filming of Justice League. Something cool. So scene, something cool with Batman, Superman, Lois, or Martian Manhunter. Take however many it takes to get it awesome. Date to be decided. On the back, it says this. This is going to the winner of this art contest. Please extend to the bearer of this slate the right to pass all security protocols and the permission to operate this motion picture scene and sync marker on the set of any additional photography for the motion picture known as Zack Snyder's Justice League, in the unlikely and purely speculative event that such photography is needed. Signed by Zack Snyder.
Wow.
So,
dude,
some more little hints on Vero that maybe, just maybe, there's something in the works with Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Wow.
And we'll go ahead. We'll reveal the winner. The winner was this one right here. Thank you again for all the amazing submissions and the birthday wishes. It is all much appreciated. As for the poster winner, well, for me, this is it. Can't wait to hang it on the wall in my office. And it is Darkseid with every character in the DCEU surrounding him. Or not surrounding him, but reflected through his armor. So this person is gonna, if they get to release the Snyder Cut and they film just those couple pieces that they still need for it, specifically. That's why he said Lois Lane and Martian Manhunter. That's why he said that, because we know that one of the only things that wasn't filmed was, instead of a scene being between Lois and Clark's mom, it was supposed to be between Lois and Martian Manhunter, Harry Lennox, General whatever, I forget his name. But that is one of the only scenes that wasn't filmed.
Oh my gosh.
There you go. If it happens, that lucky mofo that drew this is going to be on set for it.
You see, now that's how you treat your fans. That's how you treat your fans now, isn't it?
Yes.
That's how you do it. I'm in love with Zack Snyder right now. I will marry him. I don't care if he's already married.
He is married. He's very happy. Teresa, don't wreck his home.
Long live bigamy. I'll take him because this man is brilliant. Big love.
Zack Snyder could be your sugar daddy.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, there you go.
He could fucking be
He knows
mine.
how to treat fans. That's the man that knows how to treat fans.
Yeah, and I think that, listen, this is a guy that got a lot of fan backlash. Right?
Yeah, he did.
You want to talk about fan backlash for Batman v Superman, Man of Steel? A lot of people had very different opinions on how they feel.
Some of that was undeserved, Ryan. I think the cut and edit of the movie might have had something to do with that. Maybe they weren't prepared to see their characters that way, but that was undeserved in my opinion. It wasn't as horrible as people think or have said.
I think they're great. I think the theatrical cut is kind of I enjoyed it, but I think the extended edition, Zack Snyder's cut of Batman vs Superman, is incredible. I have probably in the minority. I'm not gonna pretend there's everybody feels this way, but I do think that, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of people that just don't want to see their characters. I have a certain vision for their character, and they had a tough time seeing his vision. But with that being said, Zack Snyder never came out and said, "Fuck you, fans, for not seeing my vision. I know the way. This is my this is what you should want." He said, "Well, I mean, I wish that they would have liked that, but it went a little too dark for them. We had a lot of responses to that. Warner Brothers was forced to kind of course correct, and we saw when they course corrected, they made less fucking money with Justice League than they made with the ones before it."
Exactly. Yeah, he never called us man babies, did he?
No. He did say that the closest thing maybe he ever said was he was kind of explaining Batman. He was asking about why Batman is so aggressive. He's like, if you think Batman is just living in this happy-go-lucky world where he never killed somebody or anything like that, then you're living in a fantasy land. In our story, Batman, the idea that Batman wouldn't kill goes away. And of course, if you look into that movie and realize the entire point of the movie is Batman shouldn't be killing, he's just kind of gone over the edge. Yeah. The whole point of that movie is the fact that Batman has lost his way. 20 years of it.
He's literally branding people. I mean, he's sick. He's not right.
Exactly. And it takes an alien to show him what it means to be human again. That is the message of the movie, that he shouldn't have been killing people that way. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I love Zack Snyder. I love his vision. I really hope we get to see this someday. Congratulations to the person that won the art contest. I think that is really cool. Do you guys have any final thoughts on the Snyder Cut, Zack Snyder, or this art contest?
Why wouldn't they release it at this point? What would it damage? It wouldn't hurt any other project they have going. I mean, what's the downside?
Would it cause Warner Brothers to look like the fucking fools that they are? I don't know.
While they make a bunch of money selling it,
But Joker already did that. They made them when the Joker movie came out. Warner Brothers had only put $55 million into the production. They put another $28 million into the promotional costs at the beginning. When it started to pick up money, they put additional revenue into promotion for that film because it was turning money over left and right. So yeah, they already look like fools. So why not do it again and make more money? I mean, that movie's going to be amazing. Plus, that poster is amazing. I wish I could draw because I would have loved an opportunity to,
Well, I mean, let's say it comes out and it's just an absolute train wreck. It's even worse than the theatrical release. Then Warner Brothers they still sold a bunch of tickets, and then they get to say, yeah, we were right. Or they get to say we were wrong, and look at all the money I have.
I mean, it's a visual. They're going to spend more money on visual effects, and they're going to spend probably $6-7 million in studio time to finish up whatever scenes they had left to do. I think there was only one, right, Ryan?
Yeah. So there's 1 or 2 scenes left to film, but like Robnam says, it costs money to finish it. What it would cost to finish it, there's no doubt in my mind that it's because Zack finished a lot of the visual effects himself. Basically, I bet to get up to standards for what they would want, whether they're releasing on HBO Max or whatever, it would cost some VR folks a little bit of money. You're not talking anything over like $5 million.
Yeah, VFX post, especially if Snyder's done most of the work. I mean, you get 8-9 guys on that, and they'll knock it out in 4, 5, 6 days, depending on what needs to be done.
$5 million, which is what, a third of the cost of one show of 40 minutes of Picard.
Yeah, like I said, I think with that kind of VFX left to be done, maybe $6-8 million. If you wanted to push it, and like I said, shooting that other scene is maybe another 8. If you wanted to be generous and say it's 2 scenes, they need to spend 10 or 12. For another $20 million, you've already released this movie once. You're gonna clean up. I don't know why you wouldn't release this. I really don't.
I think there's a lot of people that would buy it. Obviously, I mean, there's a lot of people that are in the hashtag movement.
Yeah,
I think that's a DVD or a Blu-ray sale at least.
I think it's another Sonic waiting to happen. I mean, you saw what the fans did for Sonic. I mean, I was there when it opened. I was there to see that movie. I was there to support that movie. I was appreciative of the fact that we were listened to. We were respected. It's really not hard.
Yeah, I agree. But so that's all the official topics we have. I do want to take an opportunity. I really want to thank my guests for being here today. Culture Casino, Lost Jedi, Teresa Martin. I'll let you guys go ahead and talk a little bit about your channels if you want to plug anything. And then, guys, don't leave because I will send you to a stream. I will send you to a stream tonight. We're going to send you to Keepers of the Force. That's where we're going to get your Star Wars fix again tonight. But Culture Casino, go ahead, do a little self-promotion.
Culture Casino. It's there in the name. I am a huge pop culture supporter and defender. I cover television, movies, and anything pop culture. I love books. I read a ton. You can't see all these books over here, but there's like a whole wall of books here. And I'm a geek from a long time ago because I'm older than most of you, maybe twice as old as most of you. So anyway, please come and join me on my channel. Subscribe. I'd like to get some people. I think I have like 6 followers, so I'm terrible. Tiny little channel.
All right. Yes, exactly. Please do sub. Very, very new channel. Make sure to check him out. I just put his link in the description so you guys can sub to him right there. Teresa Martin.
Oh, hi. Well, my channel is my namesake. It's just what I like to do. I'm a traveler. I love to put my travel up there, like bedtime reading. I like doing reviews. Love showing off my cats. Whatever interests me any time of the day or really ticks me off is what you'll find on my channel. So I'd appreciate it if you maybe go check it out. Become a little part of my crazy little flower world. So thank you very much, Ryan.
Oh, awesome. Always fun to have you on, Teresa. And then Lost Jedi 22. I'm going to show your channel for you.
Okay.
Even if you don't want to. But you do have some good videos up there. For as few subscribers as you have a couple videos with a lot of views, actually. You got one with over 140 views, and you've only got like 9 subs. So
I watched it over and over and over again.
So sub to Lost Jedi. I'm putting his link in the chat right here.
Thank you.
And look, we have everybody. We have everybody subbing to all these awesome people, which is awesome. I'm really glad that you guys are able to come and do that. Do you intend to make any more videos, Lost Jedi?
I do. It takes. I'm not ever going to be the guy who talks on camera. I don't think so. It takes a long time to put even like a. It's one thing that I just did it to figure out how to do it. I wanted to kind of dig in and teach myself how do you edit a video, and that's kind of where I started. And boy, I have an appreciation for people who put together these long format or even these 10-15 minute videos, because the amount of time it takes just to edit one video is quite a bit. You know, you go through scripting it and finding all the clips you need and smashing it all together, and it made me have a lot more respect for the YouTubers that are doing it, and the ones in particular that are cranking out just 3-4 videos a day.
It is. It can be a lot, especially the lore videos take me a long time to make. Especially that last one, I had so much edited stuff in there, but it's worth it. It's fun. I'm glad I'm able to get as much out there as I can. And it's thanks to my patrons that I'm able to dedicate so much of my time to this. So in addition to everybody up here, and I do thank you guys so much, let me thank all of my other patrons. And I do appreciate each and every one of you, and many of you who were here tonight. So Teresa Martin, who's right here, George Big Dick Lucas, also known as Storyman Jack. His link's in the description. He couldn't come tonight, but do make sure you check out his channel as well. Mexican Iron Man, Lost Jedi 22, Neo Valentine, Culture Casino, obviously, Andy Larkin, Trace XL, The Geek Blend, Daniel Himes, Mary Mayhem, What an Ass, What a Bitch, What a Cuck, Rosetta Allen, Bionic Belly Button, RC from the NYC, Riff Magos, Thick Karen, AFK Bard, RR, My Nerdy Home, Raging Rhino, Seth Saunders, Alex McCarthy, Trev Fishbein, Geeky Candy, Wesley Semple, and Mark Steven. And our newest patron, of course, Lethal Lightning. Wouldn't want to forget about Lethal Lightning. So thank you, Lethal. And thank you guys so much for being here with us today. Raging Rhino, Australian 99 cents. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you. And thank you to Steph and Tugs, and Benzo was in the chat earlier. Mary was in the chat earlier helping out. Thank you to everybody. I do appreciate y'all so much. For the panel, once we end the stream, we stay in this chat for a little bit too. So we'll be able to hang out and talk for just a little bit after. For my patrons, give me about 10 minutes after the stream, and I'll meet you in Discord for a quick chat, maybe about 20 minutes or so afterwards, if anybody wants to hang out. If you're not in the Discord, join it. And if you don't have the patron tier, let me know and I'll get it to you. But thank you guys so much. I'm going to send you to Demogeny. You're going to Demogeny, Keepers of the Force. Keepers of the Force with Fatal J. I want you to raid that place and tell them Ryan sent you. Tell them it's a Ryan raid, because you're going to make Demogeny's night. They need to get their watch time up, all of that good stuff. And they always stream right after we do. So it is the perfect time. Keepers of the Force. Boom. So go there, click on that link, go watch that. Thank you all for coming on tonight. Thank you, my panel. Thank you for chat. All the love, all the super chats, all the likes, all the shares, all the dislikes, all the comments. And we will talk to you guys next time. Bye.